When disaster strikes and the world flips upside down, it's not the strongest who survive. It's the smartest. Stockpiles of beans and rice can keep you fed, but without the right tools, you'll still be vulnerable. Imagine trying to purify water without a filter, light a fire in pouring rain, or signal for help when your phone's a dead brick. In survival, gear isn't a luxury. It's the edge between thriving and barely scraping by. Prepping isn't just about stacking supplies to the ceiling. It's about having the right gadgets that turn chaos into control. The right tools can stretch your food, protect your family, and give you solutions when resources run dry. The wrong ones? Dead weight. That's why today we're breaking down the 12 genius survival gadgets every prepper needs before crisis hits. These aren't gimmicks, they're game changers. And wait until you see number 12. It's the kind of tool that can outsmart nature itself, giving you an advantage when everyone else is left scrambling. Number 1, portable water filter, Life Straw or Sawyer Mini. You can last 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And when the taps run dry and bottled water disappears overnight, you don't want to be the one staring at a muddy puddle wondering if it'll kill you or keep you alive. That's where a portable water filter like the Life Straw or Sawyer Mini becomes a straight-up lifesaver. These little gadgets turn dirty pond or river water into safe drinking water instantly. No boiling, no chemicals, no waiting. Just sip, and the bacteria, parasites, and microscopic nasties are gone. It's basically like carrying a portable water treatment plant in your pocket. Imagine hiking through the woods with nothing but this filter, and suddenly every lake, stream, or rain barrel becomes a hydration station. The beauty is how small they are. You can toss one in your bug-out bag, stash another in your car, and keep a couple in your home kit. They weigh next to nothing, they don't expire anytime soon, and when crisis strikes, you'll be glad you had one stashed instead of hauling around cases of plastic bottles. And here's the kicker, they're cheap. Most run between $20 and $30, and each one can filter up to 1,000 gallons of water. That's pennies per gallon. A steal when you consider bottled water prices jumped 14% just last year alone. Wait too long and you'll be paying double. And if you think that's clever, just wait until you see number 3. It's criminally underrated, and honestly, most preppers don't even realize they need it until it's too late. Number 2, solar-powered charger. When the grid goes dark, your phone, radio, or flashlight turns into nothing more than dead weight once the batteries drain. That's why a solar-powered charger is a game changer. Picture this. The power's been out for days. Everyone around you is panicking, and you're still able to charge your phone, keep your flashlight alive, and even run a small radio, all because the sun is still working for you. No fuel, no noise, no dependency on the grid. Just set it out, soak up some rays, and you're back in business. These things are ridiculously portable. You can fold one up and slip it in your bug-out bag, hang it on your backpack while you're moving, or leave it on a windowsill at home to keep a steady trickle of power flowing. And they're tough too, built to handle weather, dust, and rough handling. They're not fragile tech toys, they're survival tools. Here's the kicker. You can grab a solid solar charger for around $30 to $60 depending on size. That's a one-time buy that pays for itself the first time you're staring at a blackout with no way to keep your gear alive. And keep an eye out because demand spikes whenever there's a storm, grid scare, or global panic. Prices don't just creep, they leap. Last year alone, some models jumped nearly 20% when supply chains tightened. And if you think powering your devices from the sun is slick, just wait until we hit number 5. That one separates the amateurs from the true survivors, and most people never even think to pack it until it's too late. Number 3, hand crank emergency radio with NOAA alerts. When the world goes silent and your phone has 0 bars, the one voice you'll want to hear is NOAA. That's where a hand crank emergency radio becomes worth its weight in gold. No batteries, no problem. A few cranks or a little solar charge, and suddenly you're plugged into the most reliable lifeline out there. Weather alerts, disaster updates, evacuation routes, and news that could mean the difference between heading straight into danger or steering clear of it. When the grid collapses, information becomes just as valuable as food and water, and this gadget makes sure you're never in the dark. What makes it even better is how self-sufficient it is. You don't have to hunt for batteries. You don't have to beg for a power outlet. You generate your own juice by hand. Most models even double as flashlights or phone chargers, which means you're getting a 3-in-1 survival tool without taking up extra space. Toss it in your bug-out bag, keep one on a shelf at home, and stick a backup in your car. These things are rugged, compact, and designed to survive the same chaos you are. Price-wise, they're a steal. You can grab a decent one for around $20 to $40, which is nothing compared to what it gives back when disaster strikes. And here's the kicker. Whenever a hurricane, flood, or blackout hits, these radios fly off shelves faster than bottled water. Last year, after a string of storms, some models doubled in price within weeks. If you don't grab one now, you might be stuck paying double later, or worse, stuck without one when you need it most. And if you think staying informed is crucial, just wait until you see the next gadget. It's small, tough, and could literally spark the difference between life and death when everything around you is soaked and freezing. Number 4, compact fire starter, ferro rod, magnesium block. When the temperature drops and the rain won't quit, one thing separates the comfortable from the desperate: fire. And here's the truth. Lighters run out of fuel, matches get soggy, but a compact fire starter like a ferro rod or magnesium block, that thing works every single time. Strike it, and it throws off sparks hot enough to cut through wind, rain, and even snow. We're talking thousands of strikes in one tiny tool. Basically a fire factory you can fit in your pocket. Imagine being cold, wet, and hungry, then watching one shower of sparks catch on dry tinder and roar into life. That's not just warmth, that's survival. The beauty of these fire starters is how indestructible they are. You don't need fuel, you don't need perfect weather, you just need the rod and something sharp to strike with. Toss one in your bug-out bag, clip one to your keychain, and stash a backup at home. They weigh next to nothing and take up less space than a pack of gum, but when things get ugly, they can mean cooked food, boiled water, and heat through the night. And here's where it gets even better. They're dirt cheap. Most solid ferro rods run $10 to $15, and they'll last you years. Compare that to the cost of disposable lighters, which already crept up in price by nearly 10% last year alone, and it's obvious which one gives more bang for your buck. Plus, when the world tilts sideways, these won't just be useful, they'll be barter gold. Everyone will want one, but only the preppers who thought ahead will have them. And if you think starting a fire in the rain is impressive, just wait until you see number 5. That one isn't just about survival. It's about flipping the script on darkness itself, and it's one of the smartest tricks most people overlook. Number 5, portable solar lantern / collapsible LED light. When the sun goes down and the grid is gone, darkness isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. You can't cook, you can't move safely, and you definitely can't defend yourself if you can't see what's coming. That's where a portable solar lantern or collapsible LED light flips the script. Unlike candles that burn out or lanterns that guzzle fuel, these things soak up the sun during the day and give you hours of steady, reliable light at night. No smoke, no fumes, no fire hazard, just clean, bright light you can carry anywhere. It's like bottling a piece of daylight for later. The best part? They collapse down to pocket size. Toss one in your bug-out bag, stash a couple in your car, or hang them around your home as backup lighting. They're lightweight, tough, and some even double as phone chargers, which means they're pulling double duty when everything else around you is useless. Try doing that with a box of matches or a can of kerosene. And here's where it gets almost funny. These lifesavers aren't expensive. Most solid solar lanterns run between $20 and $40, which is peanuts considering how long they'll last you. But here's the catch. Every time a blackout or major storm hits, prices jump and shelves empty overnight. People panic, and suddenly that same lantern costs twice as much, if you can even find one. Waiting until crisis hits is basically gambling with your safety. And if you think lighting up the night is clever, just wait until you see number 6. It's not flashy, but it's the Swiss Army knife of survival. One tool with a dozen tricks that could bail you out in situations you can't even imagine yet. Number 6, survival multi-tool, knife, saw, screwdriver, pliers. If there's one gadget that proves size doesn't matter, it's the survival multi-tool. Think about it. You're out in the middle of nowhere, something breaks, you need to cut rope, pry something open, saw through wood, or tighten a screw, and instead of lugging around a toolbox, you just flip open one compact device and boom, problem solved. A good multi-tool is a knife, saw, screwdriver, pliers, and more, all rolled into one rugged little package. In a survival scenario, that's not convenience, that's power. Every prepper knows one golden rule. The more problems you can solve with the least amount of gear, the longer you last. The beauty of these things is portability. You can clip one on your belt, stash it in your car, or keep it in your bug-out bag, and it barely takes up space. Yet when disaster hits, it becomes the most reached-for item in your kit. From fixing gear to preparing food to building shelter, it earns its keep 100 times over. This is the kind of tool that turns impossible into "I got this." And here's the best part. You don't need to break the bank. A solid survival multi-tool runs anywhere from $30 to $70 depending on the brand, and if you maintain it, it'll last a lifetime. Meanwhile, tool prices have been quietly creeping up. Steel and manufacturing costs jumped nearly 12% last year alone. Translation? The longer you wait, the more it'll cost to get your hands on one. Grab it now while it's still affordable, and you'll thank yourself later when it's the only tool standing between you and a tough situation. And if you think a multi-tool is clever, wait until you see number 7. It looks flimsy, it costs next to nothing, but when the temperature drops and your body heat starts slipping away, it might just be the difference between life and death. Number 7. Emergency thermal blanket. Mylar blanket. When the cold sets in and your body starts shivering, you're already in danger. Hypothermia doesn't wait for deep winter. It can hit in the rain, in the wind, or even on a cool night when your body loses heat faster than it can make it. That's why the emergency thermal blanket, better known as a Mylar blanket, is one of the smartest survival gadgets you can carry. It looks like a flimsy sheet of foil, but don't be fooled. This thing reflects up to 90% of your body heat right back at you, keeping you warm when the environment is trying to strip the life out of you. It folds up to the size of a deck of cards, weighs almost nothing, and yet it could mean the difference between waking up tomorrow or not waking up at all. The genius here is how versatile it is. Wrap it around yourself to stay warm, use it as a makeshift shelter roof to reflect heat from a fire, line the inside of a tent for insulation, or even signal for help with its shiny surface. Toss a few in your bug-out bag, glove compartment, and first aid kit. They take up no space and cost less than a cup of coffee. That's right, you can usually get a pack of these for under $10, which is insane considering what they do. And here's the kicker. Demand spikes every winter and during major storms, which means prices double when everyone's suddenly desperate for them. Smart preppers grab a stack while they're dirt cheap. And if you think a shiny blanket saving your life sounds wild, just wait until you hear about number 8. It's not only about keeping you alive, but keeping you moving, hydrated, and ready to push forward when standing still could be the biggest mistake of all. Number 8, portable water container with filter cap. Staying put isn't always an option when disaster hits. Sometimes survival means moving, and moving means you need water on the go. That's where a portable water container with a built-in filter cap earns its place as one of the smartest gadgets in your kit. It's a canteen and a purifier rolled into one, which means every puddle, creek, or rain barrel you pass can instantly become safe drinking water. No lugging around gallons, no waiting for tablets to dissolve. Just scoop, screw on the cap, and sip. When you're on the move and every ounce counts, this isn't just handy. It's survival efficiency. What makes it even better is how rugged these bottles are. They're built tough to take a beating, and unlike flimsy plastic, they won't split on you when you need them most. Toss one in your bug-out bag, keep one in your car, and stash a backup at home. Hydration is the last thing you want to gamble with. They're reusable, easy to clean, and some even come with collapsible designs to save space when empty. Price-wise, they hit the sweet spot. A solid bottle with a filter cap usually runs around $30 to $50, and that investment pays off the first time you're thirsty in the middle of nowhere. Compare that to cases of bottled water that are already climbing in price, up almost 15% in some areas last year, and you'll see why smart preppers grab these early. The moment supply chains wobble, bottles like these vanish from shelves faster than toilet paper in a lockdown. Duty is clever. Wait until you see number 9. This one doesn't just keep you alive, it lets you cook hot meals anywhere, anytime, even when the rest of the world is running on empty. Number 9, personal survival stove. Portable biomass or butane stove. When the grid goes down, your microwave, oven, and fancy appliances instantly turn into useless hunks of metal. But hunger doesn't wait, and that's where a personal survival stove becomes a straight-up lifesaver. Whether it's a compact biomass stove that burns twigs and pine cones, or a butane stove that runs off small fuel canisters, these little gadgets let you cook hot meals anywhere, anytime. No electricity, no gas lines, no problem. Imagine sitting in the dark while everyone else chews on cold cans of beans, and you're boiling water for pasta, frying up rice, or even making coffee. In a crisis, hot food isn't just calories, it's morale. And morale can keep you fighting when everything else says quit. The brilliance of these stoves is how portable they are. They collapse down to the size of a pot or smaller, and you can set them up in minutes. The biomass models are especially clever. Feed them sticks, bark, or leaves, and you've got endless fuel. No need to haul heavy tanks around when the forest floor is basically your pantry. The butane stoves, on the other hand, are clean, fast, and easy. Perfect for bug-in situations where storage space isn't an issue. Either way, you've got hot food and safe boiled water when everyone else is running on cold rations. And here's the kicker. You don't have to spend a fortune. A solid portable stove runs anywhere from $25 to $60, and butane canisters are still dirt cheap. For now. But prices are climbing fast, with reports of fuel costs spiking by nearly 20% last year alone. Once the next supply crunch hits, expect shelves to empty overnight. Smart preppers stock up now while they're still affordable, because nothing makes you feel human in a crisis like a hot meal. And if you think cooking off-grid is powerful, wait until you see number 10. It's the one piece of gear you'll pray you never have to use. But when you need it, it might be the only thing standing between life and death. Number 10. First aid trauma kit with tourniquet. Here's the cold truth. In a crisis, hospitals overflow, ambulances stop showing up, and 911 won't save you. When accidents happen, and they always do, you're either ready or you're watching helplessly. That's why a first aid trauma kit with a tourniquet isn't optional, it's mandatory. This isn't your grandma's Band-Aid box. We're talking real tools for real emergencies. Tourniquets to stop arterial bleeding, clotting gauze to control wounds, splints, burn dressings, the works. In a survival scenario, stopping blood loss fast can mean the difference between stabilizing someone or digging a grave. What makes these kits powerful is how compact they are. You can keep one in your car, stash another in your bug-out bag, and mount a full-size version at home. Everything's organized and ready to go in seconds, which is exactly what you need when adrenaline's pumping and seconds count. And here's the best part. You don't need to be a doctor to use them. With a little practice, even a basic understanding of the tools inside can turn an ordinary person into the first responder their family needs. And price? Honestly, for what they do, they're cheap. A solid trauma kit runs between $50 and $100 depending on how stocked it is. Think about that. Less than a night out for gear that might literally keep someone alive until help arrives. And you better believe prices are climbing. Medical kits saw a spike of nearly 15% last year as demand went through the roof after natural disasters and supply chain squeezes. The longer you wait, the more you'll pay. Or worse, the more you'll risk going without. And if you think medical gear is intense, wait until you see number 11. It looks like a simple bracelet, but it's secretly packed with survival tricks that could bail you out in ways you'd never expect. Number 11. Paracord survival bracelet with compass and whistle. It might look like just a rugged bracelet, but a paracord survival bracelet is one of those sneaky little gadgets that earns its place the first time you need it. In one compact wearable, you've got 3 survival heavy hitters: rope, navigation, and signaling. Pop it off your wrist, and suddenly you've got several feet of strong paracord that can tie down gear, rig a shelter, or even serve as an emergency fishing line. Built into the clasp is usually a compass to keep you on course when GPS is dead, and a whistle loud enough to cut through the chaos if you need to signal for help. That's 3 life-saving tools you don't have to dig for. They're literally strapped to your wrist, ready at a moment's notice. The real genius is that it's always with you. Unlike gear that sits in a bag or gets forgotten in a trunk, this bracelet goes everywhere you do. Hiking? It's on your wrist. Bugging out? It's right there. Caught in an unexpected emergency while running errands? You're already wearing it. That's the kind of low-effort, high-reward prep that smart survivors swear by. And here's the kicker. These things are dirt cheap. You can grab a solid one for $10 to $20, which is nothing compared to the value it gives back in an emergency. But don't let the price fool you. Demand always spikes after disasters, and even small survival gear like this sees prices double when panic buying sets in. Stock a few now while they're practically pocket change, because they'll vanish from shelves the moment crisis hits. And if you think a bracelet with hidden survival tools is clever, wait until you hear number 12. It's the ultimate backup plan when every other gadget fails. A way to keep your lifelines alive even when the sun won't shine. Number 12. Portable power bank with hand crank backup. When the grid goes down and the night drags on, dead batteries can leave you stranded in silence. A portable power bank with a hand crank backup is the ace up your sleeve. It stores energy when you've got it, and when you don't, you make your own. Plug in your phone, flashlight, or radio, and suddenly you're back in the game. No sun? No problem. Crank it by hand, and you're generating power out of thin air. In a crisis where information, light, and communication keep you alive, this little box of energy is nothing short of a lifeline. The beauty is how flexible it is. Charge it up ahead of time and stash it in your bug-out bag, glove compartment, or bedside drawer, and it'll sit ready for months. When the battery runs low, you're not out of luck. You've got a built-in crank to top it off anytime, anywhere. Some even come with solar panels for a triple threat approach, giving you energy from the grid, the sun, or your own hands. That kind of reliability is priceless when you can't predict what tomorrow brings. And the price punchline? These run anywhere from $30 to $70 depending on the size and features, which is laughably cheap when you think about what they replace. Power stations, endless batteries, or worse, nothing at all. But don't wait too long. The moment people smell a blackout or storm coming, power banks vanish off shelves and prices spike overnight. Expect the same thing the next time supply chains wobble. Grab one now, and you'll never have to beg the grid to come back before your flashlight dies. And here's the truth. This list isn't about flashy gadgets or cool toys. It's about stacking the odds in your favor when the world tilts sideways. The people who prep smart with tools like these won't just survive, though they'll stay one step ahead while everyone else is scrambling in the dark. Prepping isn't about hoarding shiny gadgets. It's about choosing the ones that actually keep you alive when the lights go out and the shelves are bare. The people who brush this list off will end up with dead batteries, broken tools, and no backup when things get rough. The ones who take it seriously, they'll be cooking meals, charging devices, and staying warm while everyone else is scrambling in the dark. These 12 survival gadgets aren't nice-to-haves. They're the backbone of control when the system cracks. Ignore them, and you're gambling with comfort, safety, and even survival. Stock them now before prices spike and availability disappears, because once chaos hits, these will be the first things gone. So subscribe for more straight-shooting survival strategies, and drop a comment. What's the one gadget you'd never leave behind? Stay ready, stay sharp, because survival doesn't wait, and neither should you.